Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your day's going wonderful. Thanks so much for joining me. Well, sometimes we all need cards in a flash, and so we're going to be making 4 cards that are super fast to create. We're using some stickers, some ephemera, a stamp set, and then we're also using some pattern papers. All of these are from Simple Stories, Simple Vintage Flower Shop Collection, and I did create a card earlier using some dies that were in this collection. I'll link that video at the end. But today we're going to make 4 cards in a flash. So we're going to jump in and get started. I do want to say that the ephemera pack that I have is called Floral Bits. There are several different kinds. Floral Bits will basically have a whole bunch of florals in there. And then the paper pad's pretty awesome. There are cut-aparts in here. There are tags, which are in here. Sometimes I make a lot of cards with tags, so we may not use the tags, but look how pretty that print is. A lot of fun patterns in here, and I love plaid, so we'll be using some plaid papers. Sticker sheet, a lot of beautiful floral elements. There's even a polka dotted border down here and some greetings you can use on cards, but beautiful images that we're going to be using on our card project today. So let's jump in with our first card. I'm going to pick out some pattern papers. I have my card base already. What we're going to do is trim down a piece of this plaid paper. We're going to trim it at 4 inches by 4 1/4. This panel is going to go directly on the very bottom of my card base. The nice thing about this paper pad is there are two sheets of each pattern, which makes it really nice. Okay, for this card I'm using this cut apart here. So since we have our paper trimmer out, we're just going to trim this. And I'm actually going to trim a little bit extra off. We're going to trim about 1/8 of an inch off of the left and flip it around and trim about 1/8 of an inch off of the right. The reverse side has some stripes, and you know what? I think I'm going to use these thin strips. The piece that we cut off, I'm going to cut in half. I'm going to add some glue behind here, and I'll do the same thing with this extra piece. The reason I'm cutting it half is because it wasn't long enough, and this piece here is thinner. Okay, so we're just kind of stretching it. We are about we're about 1/4 of an inch shy, but there's no worries because that piece here is going to be covered. And I actually like this strip. We may use this thin strip on another card. I'm taking my cut apart. I'm going to round the corner on the top, here and here. I'm going to mat this on a piece of white cardstock. Wonderful. And then I'll round the corners up here. And mat it here. I'm going to take this panel and we'll pop it up with some foam tape. In our floral bits, I picked out some of the daisies here, but I do like to mention, if you guys don't like a lot of dimension on your cards, don't add foam tape behind this panel. But what I'm going to do is just do a little bit of layering with these. Let's bring in some of my diamond stickles, which is out, but no worries. I use this a lot, so I have another one. I have backup. And we will add a little bit of glitter to the flower centers for a little extra dimension. And that's card number 1. We're going to jump into our next quick and easy card. For this next card, I'm going to bring in some of this pattern paper, and I'm going to create a panel that is 4 inches by 5 1/2. So this is going to go the length of my card base. And then I have this piece here that we're going to trim some butterflies down. We're going to trim one strip of butterflies. And you know what? I'm actually going to switch this out. I trimmed this off at 5.5, but you can still see the green butterfly. I'm going to take another 1/4 inch off. Okay, so now we have just 4 butterflies. And then for this panel, I'm going to take a 1/4 inch off too. Okay, so this panel measures 4 inches by 5.25, and then this is a 5.25 inch tall panel. Okay, I was going to go the length of my card base, but I didn't want that green showing. And since we trimmed it, it's going to go right in the center. Lovely. Now I'm going to take our sticker sheet and we're going to take the border down here. And I'm going to add a border here. And I will trim off at the bottom. Okay, and then I'm just going to eyeball this since it's quick and easy. I'm going to take this panel. We'll take this sticker and I'm going to place it here. I'm going to take my butterfly. I'm going to add a little bit of glue right down the center here. I'm going to tack this right down over the yellow butterfly. We will give that a press. And then I'm going to bring in a sticker here. I'm going to use the sticker that says Never Stop Dreaming. And okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trim Never, and we will pop this up with the small foam square, and I'm going to add it to the center of this butterfly up here. And then let's just add a foam square behind the rest of this. I'm going to trim stop. We're going to cut this into 3 different sections. And then we're going to put one on each of the center of the butterflies, except for the one that we added. And then this one will go down here at the purple one. Okay, and then I think I want to put a little heart in here, if I can find a pink heart. No, it's too busy. Maybe we can find a little pink heart that will fit in there. I'm going to add a foam square behind here. We're going to add a few gems. That's card number 2. For my next card, we're going to bring in a paper trimmer and we're going to trim down a panel. Such pretty pattern paper. We're going to do, for this one, let's go 3 3/4 inches. Okay, by 5 inches. On the reverse side of this, there's some really pretty pattern paper. I'm going to adhere this about 1 inch from the bottom. Actually, we're going to adhere this about 1/4 inch up from the bottom. Okay, I'm going to take this panel, I'm going to round the corners, and then I'll round the corners of my card base. I'm rounding them on top, and then we'll adhere this directly to the top of my card base. Okay, for this card we're going to do a little stamping with our stamp set. I'm going to stamp Smile, and I'm going to stamp it here. I'm going to use my black ink. We'll go over this. Give it a good press. Wonderful. I'm bringing in another piece of white cardstock. I'll take the banner and with our black ink. I'm going to stamp it once more on the very bottom. We're going to stamp 2 greetings here. Okay, and then I'm going to use some of my brown ink here. And I'm going to stamp it a few times because I want it kind of a dark impression. Okay, so there's this. Now I'm going to use my scissors and we'll just fussy cut these out really quickly. I'm going to put thank you aside and then we're going to use friend. Okay, let's put our inks to the side. For this card we're going to use a sticker also. But I do want to bring in that thin strip of pattern paper that we had. It was the brown paper. Let me show you. That was behind the butterfly. No. This was behind here. It was this thin strip that we had. I'm going to put it to good use. I'm going to measure it here. And I'm going to trim a little off. And I'm going to add a little bit of brown to the very bottom of that pattern paper. For this card, we're going to use the camera. And I did put foam tape behind here already. And I did use my anti-static powder tool, so it's not sticky anymore. But I'm going to add my camera right underneath my smile. Okay, and then there's another sticker in here. That's this floral here. What I'm going to do is do a little layering with it. Like so. Okay. And then I like layers. So I'm going to add another foam square here. But I'm going to double up on it. So we can still see that white border here. Okay. So cute. And then I'm going to bring in my Spellbinders glaze and glue. And I like going over the shiny parts of the camera. Since we are doing this over a sticker, it does take a little bit longer to dry. So you might want to keep that in mind. I do want to give it a little bit of tap. And then we're going to bring in a few extra gems. And I like adding them to the flowers here in our background. Especially when there's these little small ones. It's a little bit cloudy, but it will dry clear, which is really nice. And that will finish off that card. Okay, we're going to move along to our next card. For this card, I trimmed out it looks like a library book insert that was here. Okay, the reverse side is the green. And then I also trimmed out some of the photo pieces that were behind my plaid cardstock. So we're going to be using this. And then I have the reverse side of that butterfly sheet. We're going to take this and trim a piece down that measures. Let's trim this down to 3.5 inches. By 4 and actually let's go 5.5 by 5.5. Okay, we're going to take this and put this on the front of our card. This piece we're going to add some tape behind and place it right in the middle. Give that a good press. And I'm going to try and find my thank you. For this card, we're going to use the thank you that we just stamped. And then we're going to take these two photos. I'm going to crisscross them. And I'm going to add some foam tape behind here. I'm going to take this one here and then this pink one. I think we'll just use two. We're going to flip them over and I'll put a foam square behind here. I'm only going to add one foam square because I like to overlap and layer, but I am going to remove the tackiness of the sticker. Okay, and then we can remove the release paper. I'm going to place them in the center here, and then we're going to add our thank you right on the bottom. And then in our sticker sheet we also have a butterfly. There's a blue butterfly. Maybe we should add a blue butterfly. I think a blue one would go really pretty right there. So what I'm going to do is take some foam tape and put it at the top of the wings. And then I'm going to tack down the sticker here, kind of tucking in. So it kind of has that little dimension there. Okay, we're going to bring back our little gems. And then we'll add a little bit of, we'll add a little sparkle to this card as well. And that will finish off that card. So here's a look at all 4 cards that we made in a flash. Didn't take any time at all, using a few items from the Simple Stories Simple Vintage Flower Shop. It's available today over at Spellbinders, and I'll link everything I use down below. Hope this gives you a little inspiration. Have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for joining me. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for sticking with me to the end. I have 2 more videos that you guys might be interested here. If you guys are new and like the content that you see, click that subscribe button and also the notification bell. That way for future videos, be notified. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It sure does help the channel. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.